Hello, good afternoon. You're watching Market Fatafat on ET now with me, Vinny Motiwala, along with me, Cheryl D'Souza as well. Cheryl, a very good afternoon to you as well. And finally, I see some earnings are pouring in right now. We've not had any earnings since morning, but finally pouring in. Markets holding on to good gains as well as of now.
Absolutely, Vinny, which means that next 1 hour is going to be very busy because along with telling our viewers which are the stocks already moving in trade, we'll also address all the earnings that are trickling in, and Tata Metallics is the one that has actually come out with its numbers. Right now, the stock is seeing uptick of as much as 2%. But let's talk about what the markets are doing, and markets are also in fine fettle in today's trading session. 0.5% uptick coming in for Nifty. We also surpassed that 19,850 mark on an intraday basis. Now it is hovering around those levels. Sensex also seeing good strength in today's trading session. Let's take a look and let's see what Nifty Bank is doing, because that one is also moving in tandem with the benchmark. Mild bit of outperformance also coming in from Nifty Bank in today's trading session. Let's put the spotlight then on the broader markets. Your mid cap and your small cap index, and your small cap index is outperforming the benchmark indices once again. 1% uptick coming in for the small cap index, while talking about the advance decline ratio, very much tilted in the favor of the advances. Talking about the sectoral movers then in trade today, if you look at the sectoral movers, all the sectors are actually in the positive territory. The only one that's gaining the least or falling the least, you could say, is the realty index, because right now it is trading flat as I speak with a negative bias. So yes, that one also hopefully will break into the positive territory very shortly. But talking about the sectoral gainers then, is energy index, that's the top sectoral gainer, followed by FMCG, and PSU Bank Index also seeing good strength in trade today. And there you go, Vinny. As we speak and round up the market wrap, you have another earnings that's hitting the screen. That's Newgen Software.
Absolute. Newgen Software also has come out with its numbers. Let's just first bring on board our technical analyst for today. We have Kunal, Boothra, while from the research team we have Lisa as well as Vamakshi joining in with us. A very good afternoon to all three of y'all as well. And I will, let's just mark what is Newgen Software doing, because look at the uptick that we're seeing coming in the stock price as well. Profits of the company 47 crores versus 30 crores increase on a quarter-on-quarter basis. Revenues of the company also have seen an uptick, 293 crores versus 251 crores on a year-on-year basis. So seems like a strong performance that is coming in. We are obviously waiting out for more details over there, but the stock has surely seen a sharp spike up once the announcement was made in terms of the numbers. So keeping an eye out on a Newgen Software that's surely buzzing in trade as of now on the back of its numbers. And EBITDA also seeing a sharp improvement, 57 crores versus 32 crores just last quarter. So overall an improvement that we're seeing in the operating performance of the company, bottom line, top line, all of them seeing an improvement coming in, and seems like the margin also has seen a bit of an improvement coming in there as well. So good set of numbers seems like as coming in from Newgen Software, and keeping an eye out on that one in trade today. But let's move on and start with the other stock that is in focus, and that is Aarin Fashions. And Aarin Fashions is in focus today. Why? Because we have a brokerage note that is coming from Systematics. They've initiated coverage on this one with a buy rating, and a target price that they have given for this one is at around 515 rupees per share. They believe that the growth will be led by the company as a combination of a strong footprint expansion that the company is focusing on, as well as higher LTLs, while the margins are expected to keep moving upwards as well, especially with a scale up in Arrow as well as Flying Machine brands as well. Now Sephora on the other hand, as well as other smaller brands which are being phased out, will have a limited impact in terms of the overall profitability of the company, but Arrow and Flying Machine will be something that will be supporting the growth for the company. They also believe that their target multiple at around 10 times is still has room for further re-rating upwards as well, and they continue to see the company doing well on its deliverables for the next couple of years. That's why they're positive on Aarin Fashions, keeping a target price of 515. As of now, the stock is holding on to gains of 2%.
Alright, so that's Aarin Fashions for you. Let's move on. Let's talk about VATech Vabag, and that particular counter is in focus in today's trading session, because the company has said that it's partnered with Pani Energy to implement applied artificial intelligence for treatment plants. The new category of digital technology is called operational intelligence, and delivered through the product Pani Z in the plant operations. Also, what the company has said that the partnership aims to leverage Pani's platform to optimize an OPEX in the plants by reducing downtime, energy consumption, as well as chemical usage. The company has also said it will expedite crucial decision-making processes and enhance the longevity of the critical equipment. That is what VATech Vabag actually mentioned in their statement. So on back of that partnership, as you can see it on your screen, 9.9% uptick coming in for VATech Vabag, a healthy run coming in for that particular counter.
Okay, surely keeping an eye out on that one. Let's move on and talk about the first stock on the technicals, and that is L&T Finance. Kunal, this one has seen a fabulous up move in the last 6 months as well. Today also holding on to very strong gains. What is the view now on L&T Finance at 138? Is it still a good buy?
So good afternoon. First of all, I think in the month of June, July, the stock had come back towards 140 levels after a steep run prior to that, when the stock rallied from 80 levels to 140. Then post that 140 mark in the month of end of July, the stock for the last 3 months was consolidating. So it was in the band of 10%, 15% broadly, 130, 120 to 140 as a broad band for L&T Finance. And today's move indicates that the stock is now trying to end its major multi-month consolidation. This could augur very well for the stock price. And looking at the way the chart setup is, for L&T Finance, the volume setup over the last 1 or 2 weeks indicates that the stock could be in for a much more bigger breakout. So 140 as the first target for the stock price, but on the upside would look out for targets in the range of 150 to 155.
All right, so that's the take coming in on L&T Finance. But Vamakshi, let's talk about SIAT, and this one is soaring in trade, and not just SIAT has made sure that the entire tire pack also is buzzing in trade, isn't it?
Well, yes, SIAT is surging in trade, and that is because the company reported stronger than expected numbers. When we look at the revenue that has come in at 3,053 odd crores, this is an uptick of almost 5.5%. But look at the operational performance of the company. When we look at the EBITDA, that has come in nearly 124% higher on a year-on-year basis, standing at nearly 456 odd crores. The margins have also seen a marked improvement when we compare it on a year-on-year as well as sequential basis. Margins now stand at around 15 odd percent. The net profit has seen a jump of nearly 33 times on a year-on-year basis, and that is also on account of the Q2 numbers having an exceptional item of almost 24 odd crores. Now let's look at some of the highlights that came through for the results. They did witness some healthy quarter-on-quarter volume growth, which was actually driven by strong OEM demand for the festive inventory. Exports are remaining on a recovery path. Realizations are similar to quarter or similar on a sequential basis. So all in all, it looks like a good set for SIAT, and that is the reason why the stock is up nearly 5%.
Absolutely, but let's also listen into what the management had to say in terms of the commentary coming in on margins as well as demand trends as well from SIAT. Listen in.
It's been a very good quarter for us, especially at the gross margin level. As I had been talking about margins, we want to maintain our margins in a narrow band going forward. So our objective is to have predictability of margins, stability of margins, and gradual improvement. So I think if there's no great volatility in the system, we would try to maintain margin in a very narrow band. Crude has gone up, and imported rubber prices have also inched up. But at the same time, demand for tires are weak in China, in Europe. So these two things will balance each other out. Our raw material basket seems to have bottomed out, and there'll be a gradual creeping inflation going forward in quarter 3 and quarter 4.
All right, moving on then, Lisa, let's talk about Kumar Infra. Why is this particular counter in focus? Is it auto win once again, or is there some other news flow?
You're right, Cheryl. So, Kumar Infra is in focus on the back of an order win. They have received a letter of acceptance, and this is worth 509 crore. And the nature of the project, it's an EPC project, and it relates to Command Hospital in Lucknow, and the first phase of the project that will be executed in the next 2.5 years. They will be providing tech accommodation as well as other infra to Command Hospital. Well, the company is in an order winning spree, as they have won back-to-back orders. Since yesterday also they won an order for around 100 crore, and this is related to pre-engineering building structural steel works worth rupees 100 crore, and this they have it's related to stations, elevated stations of Mumbai Metro Rail project of MMRDA. And the stock since yesterday, it's seen an upward trend. It's gained around 10%, and today it also touched a 52-week high.
Surely keeping an eye out on the stock on the back of this order when a letter of acceptance actually coming in on that front. Let's move on and talk about AB Capital then, Kunal. Last 1 month, when you look at the stock, seems like a bit of a subdued performance, muted performance that has come in from the stock. What is your chart indicating? What are the technical levels that you're keeping an eye out on?
looks like the stock is trying to end its time-wise consolidation. The last 1 or 2 weeks, the stock has been a bit more choppy, but then the choppiness is confined into a range of 10 points to 15 points broadly for AB Capital. So 170 as a base, 180 to 85 as a resistance for the stock price. And now it looks like the stock is inching back again towards a breakout of this tight range for AB Capital. So looking at the short-term charts and the way recent trends have shaped up, I believe it could be a good time to accumulate the stock at current levels. Would look out for a breakout of the previous highs of 196.97 for AB Capital, which means potentially another 10% up move could be in the offing over the near term.
Okay, let's watch out for those levels over there for AB Capital. Let's move on, talk about data patterns. This one is buzzing away in trade. At one point of time, it was up as much as 6% in trade as well. Why is that so? Because the company actually inked a pact with a licensing pact and a transfer of technology agreement with InSpace to acquire miniature synthetic aperture radar, that is SAR capabilities. And on the back of this, we've seen that the stock has been buzzing InSpace. Now, InSpace is an independent nodal agency under the Department of Space and will provide data patterns with the miniature SAR radar capabilities, which would enhance its remote sensing powers as well. So on the back of this, today we have seen that data patterns is in focus. It's an important one coming in for data patterns over there. So keeping an eye out on data patterns. As of now, holding on to gains of 4.5%.
Alright, moving on, let's talk about Sterling and Wilson, and that particular counter is in focus in today's trading session. Last time I checked, the stock was actually trading low, locked in the lower circuit of about 5% or so. It's taken the stock to the lowest level since August 2nd, and there's a biggest intraday drop coming in for Sterling and Wilson since about March 16. The reason for this sort of a drop coming in on the counter is there was a block deal that took place of about 2.3 lakh shares, and that particular block deal took place at a price of around 280.3 rupees per share. So post the block deal, as you can see it on your screen, the stock actually saw that nosedive, and it is locked in the lower circuit of 5% as we speak.
Okay, that is Sterling and Wilson for y'all. Let's move on to the next stock, and this one is on the technicals, is SBI Cards and Payments. Kunal, SBI Cards in the last 1 month has seen a fall of around 4% coming in. In terms of the charts, what is it that you are understanding from SBI Cards? Is it a good buy at 804?
See, if you look at the last 12 months to 18 months for SBI Cards, it's been a disappointing performance from level 100 levels. The stock had earlier formed a low which was around 675, 680 mark for itself. Now in the last couple of weeks, the reason for flagging of SBI Cards is that now it's trying to come back above its respective 200 moving average on the upside. If that happens for SBI Cards, that could be about that 820 levels, so which means another couple of percentage points, and the stock closes about 820 mark. This could probably be a trend-changing move for SBI Cards, and if that happens, we could be looking at the stock not just trying to make a comeback and retest the levels of 900, but possibly cover up the huge underperformance which has been going on since the last 1.5 odd years.
Alright, so that's the view coming in on SBI Card. But Vamakshi, let's talk about KEC International, and why is this one in news today?
Well, Shell, this stock is in news today on the back of an order win. The company reported that they have secured new orders worth about 1,315 odd crores in India as well as the international markets. The transmission and distribution, that is the T&D business of the company, has actually managed to secure orders for T&D projects not only in India but also the Middle East, Australia as well as the American region. Apart from that, when we look at the cable business, that has also managed to secure orders for supply of various types of cables in India as well as overseas. So largely we have KEC in focus on the back of that order win worth almost 1,315 odd crores. As of now, the stock has definitely slipped from the highest point of the day, but nevertheless it is trading in the green with a gain of around 1%.
Let's move on and talk about Tata Power then, Lisa. Why is this one in focus? What's the news for you today?
Well, so Tata Power's green energy arm, that is Tata Power Renewable Energy Limited, they have signed a 12.5 megawatt captive solar deal, and this will be used by the company itself. They have signed this power deal with Endurance Technologies, and this plant will be set up in Maharashtra, and it will generate around 27.5 million units of electricity every year. Well, the project is expected to be completed within 12 months of the signing of this power delivery agreement, and with this, the proposed captive solar power plant the overall renewable energy portfolio of Tata Power, that will reach a total capacity of around 7,889 megawatts. So yes, that is why Tata Power is in focus today on the back of this news.
All right, so that is Tata Power for you. But Kunal, IRCTC, where is this one headed from here on? Because we've seen the IRCTC did have a very good run. Then you had news-based and government policy announcements that kind of shook the stock price. But then from there on, it's been actually trying to recoup those losses, try to make a comeback, but it's failed to do so when you compare it with the rest of the rail PSU counters, isn't it?
Well, yeah, partly right, Cheryl, because the stock has been an underperformer. But my sense is that many of these railway stocks are actually looking very attractive. So, there was this phase a couple of months back till the end of the month of July or August that these stocks had done exceptionally well. Many of these stocks, the mid-cap names, had gone to rallies of 2x, 3x mode in a short span of time. IRCTC, on the other hand, the stock has been an underperformer. But I believe that the stock is showing all the classical ingredients in terms of the charts, the indicators breaking out of the previous swing highs, the stock trading comfortably above the key short-term, medium-term moving averages, and every now and then, whenever you see the railway stocks as well as the markets perking up higher, we tend to see IRCTC also amongst a few of the strong gainers for itself. So that put together looks as an attractive setup, and my expectation is that if this setup continues for IRCTC, we may be looking out for the stock hitting levels of even 800 to 850, possibly in the next 3 to 6 months.
Okay, let's move on and talk about another stock that is buzzing in trade on the back of its numbers. Now, we have signed DLM that reported its numbers. When you look at it, the revenue of the company has come in at 292 crores, which is a growth of around 35% on a quarter-on-quarter basis. The profits of the company have seen an uptick of 177% QOQ, and sequentially, even the margins actually slight bit of a pressure there, 92 basis point contraction in terms of the EBITDA margins of the company, 8.3% versus 9.2%. Now, when you look at it, the unfavorable business mix is something that is hurting the margins as of now. That's the highlight that is coming from brokerage notes as well. Overall, strong traction was seen in aerospace as well as defense vertical. Order book, slight bit of a decline when you look at it on a year-on-year basis, but mainly that was because of the business seasonality when you compare on a year-on-year basis. Margins, obviously, like I mentioned, a bit of a contraction because of the unfavorable business mix, that is higher share of low margin contract being executed during the quarter. So because of that, it's a bit of a change in mix which is impacting it. But other than that, strong growth in terms of the revenues that we have seen coming in, strong growth in terms of bottom line, and that is what is keeping the stock a buzz on a sequential basis as well. When you look at it, a strong performance. Signed DLM is up 2.9% as of now as well.
All right, that's signed DLM for you. That is in focus. Let's put the spotlight then on Som Distilleries, and this particular counter is in focus in today's trading session as well. Remember that yesterday the stock was reacting to its earnings, but today the reason why the stock is actually reacting to news is the fact that the company has said that it has signed a strategic contract manufacturing agreement in Jammu and Kashmir to make Indian-made foreign liquor, that is IMFL, and the deal, they've said, will lead to shorter turnaround time for supply of products to northern India as well as border region. For the fact that they have a crucial contract manufacturing agreement in tie-up with the state of Jammu and Kashmir to make IMFL, you can see the stock is actually seeing good uptick. At one point in time, it was trading higher by 4%. Now it is higher by about 2.9%. That's Som Distilleries for you.
Let's move on to stock number 15 for today. That's Balrampur Chini Mills. And Kunal, what's your view on Balrampur Chini Mills? What are the charts indicating here?
So the stock looks attractive as a setup. The stock has formed a good base at the 400-420 mark, and now it seems like the stock should be ready for another trend on the upside. So even as a short-term play, I would expect Balrampur Chini to head towards 450-455 mark. But on the longer-term charts, the targets could be significantly higher from those levels. The added advantage for the stock is how the movement is for rest of the other pack. Even for the smaller cap names, the high beta stocks like Bajaj, Hind, Renuka, etc. Many of these stocks have shown good momentum or comeback in the last couple of days. So that should also add to the positive sentiment across many of the sugar stocks, including Balrampur Chini.
All right, moving on. Vamakshi, let's talk about HDFC Bank then. Yes, they came out with their numbers. How are the numbers? What are brokerages saying on HDFC Bank?
Well, yes, when we look at the net interest income for HDFC Bank, that has come in slightly lower than what we were penciling in, and net interest income has come in at around 27,385 odd crores. Now, moving on to the operating profit was also below our estimates, standing at 22,694 odd crores. Provisions came in lower as compared to the ET now poll of nearly 3,100 crores. Provisions came in at 2,904 odd crores. But when we look at the net profit number, that has in fact come in above what the street was penciling in. Net profit has come in at almost 15,976 odd crores. The asset quality for this counter has also seen an improvement. Gross NPA ratio has declined by nearly 6 basis points sequentially, standing at 1.34%, while the net NPA ratio has seen a downtick of almost 5 basis points sequentially. Not just that, when we look at the core NIM on total assets, it has slightly deteriorated to 3.65% as compared to 3.7%, which is the provisional number that was disclosed by the merged HDFC Bank entity for Q1 FY24. All in all, HSBC has given a buy rating, Jefferies has given a buy rating, while InCred has gone ahead and upgraded its rating on HDFC from hold to add. So largely on the back of its numbers, keep an eye out on HDFC Bank.
Keeping an eye out on HDFC Bank, but Wonderla Holidays, that is also in focus. And Kunal, when you look at it, last 6 months, around 80% return is what it's already given. Is it time to actually start booking profits, or should you expect more of an upside here?
I would expect more of an upside for Wonderla Holidays. Yes, the last 6 months have been stellar. The last 1 year, I mean on a YTD basis so far, the stock is up some 135-36%. It's been an exceptional mover even in the last 1 or 2 weeks, where the stock has moved from I think 620-640 levels to now 800 plus where it's trading. So which means that on various degrees of time frame, the stock has been proving itself as a strong candidate of a breakout, as well as sustaining the breakout. So that's a good sign for the stock price, building its trend, building its own trend over the last so many years. Would maintain the bullish stance on Wonderla and expecting higher targets from current levels.
All right, so that is Wonderla for you. But Lisa, Lemon Tree, why is this one in news today?
Well, they have signed a license deal in Dehradun, Uttarakhand, and this is a license deal for 55-room property project, and it's expected to open by FY27. Now, it will be managed by their wholly owned subsidiary only, that is Carnation Hotels Private Limited, and it will be in partnership with the Doom Dwelling LLP. So, the management highlighted that this is in addition to their 8 existing as well as 5 upcoming hotels in the state itself, and they're also looking to expand their footprint in Dehradun. So that is why Lemon Tree is in focus on the back of the addition and signing of the license deal in Dehradun.
Okay, in focus on the back of this deal in Dehradun, that's Lemon Tree for y'all. But let's move on, talk about Trident, Vamakshi, because this one is sulking in trade today. What's the news for you?
Well, yes, Vinny, the stock is declining in trade today. The stock is under pressure, and that is because we have reports suggesting that the income tax department is conducting raids at Trident Group. Now, keep in mind that this is a source-based information from reports. In fact, they have also highlighted that the raids are underway countrywide across Trident's locations. And on the back of that, we did see a very sharp fall come in as far as Trident is concerned. And as of now, the stock is trading near the day's lowest points, down nearly 2.5%.
All right, so that is Trident for you on back of those reports coming in that the IT department is conducting searches across the nation. But on that note, we slip into a break on this edition of Market Fatafat. When we come back, more stocks to discuss, so don't go anywhere.